Hi everyone, my name is Kendrick and welcome to ENFP Mail. Today I get to interview Assaf. So welcome, man.
Hello. Great to be here. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Assaf, what is your official type? Can you give us the full type?
Feminine, Ni-Fi, sleep, blast, consume, and play last.
So you are a jumper INTJ.
Yes.
What did you think and how did you feel when you got your typing results back?
I was kind of shocked. I mean, I thought I was an NF, but I thought I was like an INFP, so like FINE, but they said I was an observer, and I kind of like it, but I didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it. Yeah, I kind of like it because it was more positive than what I thought. Like I'm a teacher, and then they say I have blast as a savior, so I really like that. And sleep, it makes a lot of sense. So. I'm like a super sleeper. I'm like the most sleep first that there is. It's like a double activated on sleep, but it's super sleep.
Yeah. So what is that like for you, having double activated sleep? What is your experience with that?
It's like it feels magical, but like it feels. I'll tell you how it feels like subjectively, and then I'll tell you how I think it is objectively. Like subjectively, it's like magical. It's like I need something quiet. I need peace. I will feel that I'm going to this very deep place within me that I can change things in my body, like my senses or how I feel, and figure out what's going on, and process things that I've learned. On the objective realm, I'm sleepy all the time. like I would. So this blast sleep is like weird. Like I would do this lecture, and I have no problem like doing a lecture in front of hundreds of people or doing a lesson, and then I'll be just exhausted, and I'll just have to go to the restroom and close my eyes, breathe. I meditate. I try to do it twice a day. I take a nap at lunch and not lunch, at noon. And I try to sleep early. And it's weird, like when you have play last, it's like you would think that I sleep a lot, but I don't, because it's very difficult for me to do the transitions between being awake and being asleep. So I really need to practice it in order to get a really good night's sleep.
Your sleep is also double masculine. So how does that play into having a double activated sleep when it's also a double masculine double activated sleep?
Wow, it's extreme. It's like at the age of 18, I joined this social movement, and I lived in commune, and I became an education man, a guide, and I lived very scarcely, like with $200 a month, and I did it because I had these values, like today, I can talk about it OP in an OP language, like it's what I think is going on in reality, and what do I value, and what do I think is valuable to do in life. Like everything I care about is like the meaning of life, what is the most meaningful life to me. And so I was in this social movement for 14 years, and my gasoline was like, this is my worldview. And so I stuck with it a long time, even when, objectively it may not have been that good for me, but I believed in it. So changing my worldview is very difficult. And everything I go by, all my actions derive from my worldview, from my values, from the way I appreciate the world as important.
So from what I'm hearing from you, you're using your masculine NI to kind of like project yourself into the future. But because it's masculine, it's like unstoppable, it's just going straight in a straight line. There's nothing that can stop it. And because your FI is also masculine, it's like 100% on board with that vision that you see. And as a result, you have like this kind of like super bulldozer, but you know, you might not be going the right place. You know, you might not be bulldozing the right place, but you have
Yeah.
it. You have it. So do you think it's like something like that? Like what's kind of what's happening?
Yeah, like it's like with NI, it's like what's going to happen? Like what? Like I'm like looking at everything very broadly. Like what is what is valuable in society? What is valuable long term? And so yeah, you're right. Like it's what you think. So what I thought it's like was like society is very capitalist. It's not personal. Everybody's very um, by their own. There's no solidarity in the society, and pleasure and enjoyment is not play. Pleasure and enjoy, but that was the ideology. Is not you don't do that. Everybody just works and then goes to sleep. And so I will be this social warrior to give an example of myself and show the way to others how to save the human race. You know, how
Yeah.
to save the human race. So it's a very long term. Every day I was waiting for this crash, this social unrest, because that's what I expected to happen.
You know, masculine NI is I think one of the craziest function there is. You know,
It is crazy.
it is nuts. Like it's just like the people I've interviewed, people I know in real life who has masculine NI. It's just so crazy. You know, like because you could either be unstoppable or you shot yourself in the foot. You know, you're screwed, right? Like it's such a gamble. It's such a like you know, roll of a dice, such a you know, flip of a coin. You know, it's such you know, it's a gift and a curse. You know, so I
Yeah, it's like you feel like what you strive all the time is something that is unreachable. You have this ideal or this, I don't know how to be with like NITI, but well, with me, it's like I have this standard, this ideal that I myself am not like, and people around me are not. And
yeah,
so every time I'm trying to reach something that is unreachable all my life. So it's like you don't, and it's masculine, so you don't have any fun. Like you're very, very serious about like um, what needs to be done.
yeah,
Everything is so, so serious.
yeah. I don't know. It's just I just think it's absolutely crazy. But what about your double feminine play? It's last. You know, you have double feminine play and it's fourth. So what's your experience with that? It's the opposite side of your sleep.
So like for me, um, like OP was valuable in immeasurable valuable because then I knew what I needed to work on.
Yeah,
Like by myself, I just couldn't. It would have been very, very difficult to know what's going on just by a lot of failure, a lot of pain. And when I found out, I started. No, I wouldn't say that. I started like in the night. I just couldn't fall asleep, and I just put music in my computer and started dancing. You know, just before I go to sleep, and that would relax me. And you know, for other people, it may be just sitting idle, watching TV, or reading a book. But for me, dancing, moving, that was what I needed, and I did it more and more, and now I'm dancing every day, and and I really love it. Like I'm not good at it. Like when the teacher does his movements, like it's very hard for me to follow,
yeah,
and especially when I'm tired. But I love it. I love it because then I have energy, and it's fun by itself. It's like let's talk about the meaning of life. How can you not talk about the meaning of life? How can I not talk about the meaning of life? It's like, coming from this very serious vision of the future and what should be done to like, maybe the meaning of life is just, having fun, uh, sensing, dancing,
Yeah.
So I guess no um, objective, um, there's no objective meaning in life. Like, so I guess that's valid as much as any. It's like, for me, in order for me to have a good life,
Yeah.
I really need um, a worldview. A worldview. I really need it. Without it, it's like I'm lost. It's like I'm, drifting. I almost can't see reality. Like, I would buy like shoes,
Yeah.
and like half of the shoes that I buy, I just throw, because like I don't know if it's good for me. I just can't feel sensorily that if it's good
Oh,
for
I
me or not.
see. That's funny.
Yeah, and like I would make food, start to eat it, and then no, I don't want it,
Yeah.
and I just won't touch it, or you know, it's very, so I need a plan, I need a system.
Have you seen the movie Up in the Air, which
No?
George Clooney? Okay, I think that's one of
George.
the George Clooney.
Hmm.
I think it's one of the best movies. I think it's almost like it's like super underrated. Most people don't know about it, but when you watch it, there's so much wisdom in the movie. Um, but there's a part in the movie where they were talking about the meaning of life, and the guy there was a character in the movie that was supposed to get married, and he said that he was about to get married, and he had cold feet, right? So he kind of like ran away from the person that he's supposed to marry, and he said that moment he had a flash about his life where he just thought, okay, he's gonna get married, he's gonna have kids, and then after he has kids, his kids are gonna grow up, they're gonna go to school, and then he'll retire, and then he'll be dead, right? And then he said, like, what's the point? What's the point of doing all this when this is what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of getting married if he knows this is exactly like the path that is, that where he's going towards? And then George Clooney looked at him and said, you know what, man? There is no point to life. There is no point. But life is so much better when you have a co-pilot. And so, go out there and, be the best co-pilot or whatever. And I was like, that's a good way to think about it, because like, yeah, it's true. Because especially for you, it's play last, right? So engaging the tribe is going to be one of your biggest problem. But, and I think that co-pilot kind of like analogy was really good. You're like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like life, there is no point. But when you're spending time with other people, and you're building something with other people, then it kind of makes your life a little bit better. Especially in your case, because your biggest weakness is SE, right? Especially your feminine SE. So you do have consume, but it's third. So you still have the blind spot from the SE that you get from the tribe, right? So if you get like the tribe SE and like the consume SE together, then you're like unstoppable. And those are both your demons too, right? So it makes it even harder for you to use that SE. But what I'm wondering though is that because you have play last, would you say you're very info dominant, even though you have feminine SE? I think that's kind of an interesting combination,
Yeah,
because you're gonna be
definitely info dominance.
yeah, you're gonna be obsessed with the right information, but because you have SE and it's feminine, you're gonna be forgetting those information that you have gathered, right? Would you say that's about right? Like you've gathered all this facts and then you forgot about it, and then but you're
Yes.
dominant, so you're gonna obsess over it. So how does that work? That's so like interesting to me.
So like it would be very, first it's like the blast and then the consume. So I need a task, I need something to be engaged in, and then I will learn it. And it will be difficult for me to learn. I won't like it, but I'll do it because I want to blast. I want to teach.
Right.
And so I'll learn. Then it will, I'll just make it into something very, very, very compact, like very, very compact. And
Yeah.
then I'll teach it like with the NITI,
Yeah.
very, I don't, it's like, I wouldn't, that's what's interesting me. That's what interests me. Like very, very narrow concepts. And they say I'm good at it. So great. But it's like, I need to give more respect to the amount of information I get, because it's hard. It's hard for me to consume. It's hard for me to say, you know what, I need to really know like 10 times as much as I teach. I
Well, I
think
can.
like what you said, you know,
All right, yeah, keep going.
like what you said about the co-pilot, it's like saying, you said like it's best to have a co-pilot. It's like the valuable thing, and I guess there are a lot of valuable things like in life, like when, and it's like, I guess it's, you know, our biology. Like, yeah, it's nice that you have somebody to talk to. It's nice that you have somebody to have fun with. It's nice to feel satisfaction. Yeah, I guess it does make satisfaction when you know, advance evolution, you know, like when you have a kid or something like that. I guess there are just a lot of things that will make you feel fulfilled. And I guess it's biological, I think.
Yeah, well, for sure, because like I took this course when I was in college. I think it was one of the best courses I've taken, and they taught us how to be happy, which I thought was really cool. It was like, they don't really teach you how to be happy when you go to school, right? Because I think that's super important. I think that should be like the first thing they should teach you, right? Like, this is how to be happy. This, because like, what's the point of getting a job and stuff if you hate yourself, right? Like, or like you hate your life, right? So it's like especially with the masculine NI people, like you'll forget about your body, and so, but
It's terrible.
yeah, but then like what I learned from that is like, like the biggest source of happiness is, making a difference in the world, right? Like moving humanity forward, or just,
Yeah.
even on a small scale, like let's say you help like a grandma walk across the street, right? Like that already, makes you feel really happy, right? So that's like the highest form of happiness, right? The second highest form is like flow, which is when you're so engaged at your work, which is probably easy for you because you have that masculine NI. You're always engaged at your work, right?
Too much.
Yeah, too much, but it's good. You have that flow at least. And then the weakest level is like, surface level stuff, like eating ice cream, or, like that kind of stuff, right? Like watching it like a trashy TV show, like it's like the lowest form, right? So it's kind of like we'll
I
build.
don't know. What about intercourse? I mean, it's sensorily, but it's great. Everybody does it. Everybody does it.
Yeah,
I love
I think that one I would have to put as an exception to the rule. But everything else, I think,
dancing.
yeah, yeah, you're right. I'm not like arguing with that. But dancing could be flow also, right? So you have, if you think about it,
Okay.
because like when we think about work, it doesn't have to be like serious work, right? It could just be like an activity.
Wait, I don't know what, like, flow is, for me, it's a very serious thing. Like, if I'm, focused on something and I'm working on something, I can like not eat, not sleep, not rest, not get up, just stay in my position and just do the work until I get it done. It's just, it's insane. It's super concentrated. So it's not fun for me, it's not necessarily fun.
Like when you're dancing, don't you think you're in flow also? And it's fun.
Yeah, actually it is.
It was it was you who decided to pick a flow area that is not fun. Like you chose that, like no one told you to do that. You're the one who said, okay, I'll pick this one. At least you're
Right.
more balanced now. You have the dancing, right? So now you can dance, and then you can do that work. So you have like the happiness flow,
Yeah.
and non-fun workflow. So
Yeah.
so at least that you figured that out. But it's kind of interesting to know that there's several forms of flow, right? You're not just stuck in like that one type. Um, I can relate to what you said though earlier about you need to work or do something first, blast first before you can consume. Because I'm the same as you, right? I have blast above consume. So I did notice that before, where I would consume first. I'm like, I don't know what I'm reading, or like I don't know what I'm learning here, But But like when I start to do something and then I run into a problem, like, okay, now I need to consume so I can figure this out, you know? So I don't know if that makes sense to you, if that's also how you do it, but
Definitely. For me, it's like, what's the point? Why would I learn this? I mean, it's like all the things that I do for a point,
yeah,
you know, because I think it's important. It's like,
yeah,
what is important to me, then I'll do it. Okay. And if it's not important, if I don't need to blast it, then why should I learn it?
yeah.
Like I have, like I used to really disrespect the academia, and just because of my type, you know, because like I said, you know, if I need it, you know, I said that school is not practical, you know,
Yeah.
for 12 years, like you're not engaged with reality.
Yeah.
So you just learned theory.
Yeah.
And today my view is a bit different.
No, I still believe that right now, like the academia is useless. I still believe that, like, unless you're studying to be like a doctor or like engineer, you know, like something that is actually useful. Like most things are useless, in my opinion. For like academia. I don't think you're wrong. I actually agree with your point. You know, like I think they are actually like a lot of big CEOs are saying, you know, it's waste of time to go to college, right? You know, because there's nothing really you could learn there unless you're studying, like I said, to be a doctor or engineer, right? You know, so or IT, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if you're learning something that is valuable, then if you're not learning anything that's valuable, yeah, that it's not then it is not valuable. But like I'm learning a teacher's certificate in English,
Yeah,
and it's very very important. And you know, I can say, yeah, I don't know if it's important to me, and I don't like it, but it is important. If I don't know English properly, then I won't be a good teacher. But yeah, you're right.
why do you need good English to teach in Israel though? Because if you teach in Israel, you don't need English, right?
I'm an English teacher.
Oh, you're an English teacher in
I'm an
Israel.
English teacher.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, and yeah, okay, then you need it. Okay, got it.
yeah.
um where's your problem with play last? I'm kind of curious because you don't seem not playful at all. Like you seem quite playful actually. Like
Oh, you don't know. Play last. It's like it's um it's like weird. It's like the things that give me. First of all, I felt for me, play is like a place where it's hard for me to be conscious of, and for me, it's connected to fun. So for me, like a lot of, I would disrespect fun in my life and disrespect others that, just had fun. And and once I do fun, once I discover new things, once I, you know, interact with other people, I get tired really fast. Like it's like new. Wait, I need to process this.
yeah,
So like I would like a month ago I went to a party and I danced and like every half an hour I would just lie on a couch, meditate, and then when I process everything, I just go back to dancing. I would do that like 5 times that evening,
yeah,
and yeah, so it's like super fun. It's super engaging, but I need to process it, and it, over time it gets better. Over time, it's like it becomes more known. I know what to expect. I know what to expect out of people. I I don't like unplanned things. Like if you put me in a social sorry, it's morning. My head is not working. Like if you put me in a party and there is no schedule, I don't have like a close friend, or I don't know what's going on.
yeah,
I would get lost. I would just get lost, and I would just leave at some point. Like I have to. And right now, the only reason that I enjoy dancing, that I give it a chance, is because it's my goal. You know, my goal is to improve in play. So I do it. But, you know, it's not, it's like, it's hard to even explain. Like, I don't feel my experience. It's very hard for me to experience my experiences. Like, it's like, it's something a bit unconscious, even a bit unconscious. Like I would dance, like it's a flow, but it's a weird flow. It's like, what's going on? Like dancing, I think I'm having fun, but what's going on? When is this going to stop, this lesson? Like,
That's so weird.
like it's out of my zone. I don't know what's going on. Am I having fun? Am I not having fun? It's good for my body. So I'm trying to take it very, very easy, not to, you know, because I don't have my limits of what my body can or cannot endure. So
Your play is also ST. So what is ST play? Like it's double feminine ST play. So what is that? You know, with the SE and the TE, right? Like what is ST play?
I guess it's like all I can say is that like I would like listen to somebody. Like I guess I'm a good listener. Like if I want to listen to somebody, if I'm interested in him,
Yeah.
so I would like, it's a weird combination. It's like I would look him in the eye and try to figure out what's going on, but I would like receive information and then I would give him advice. So that's for me like ST play. It's like receiving information and then giving my advice, what I think this person should do.
And
that's what I
because it's ST, it's sensory clear, right? So what is that sensory clear advice that you would give someone usually? You know?
I really don't know. Like I just love dancing. That's what I know.
Okay.
And ST play. It's a good question. I don't. Can you give me an example of a play, like other than dancing with somebody?
I heard like the worst ST joke recently, so I'll tell you an ST joke, okay? So bad. So recently I went to do my emergency first aid, so to get recertified for it, because I work in the fitness industry and we need to get certified in first aid. And the instructor was telling us that we shouldn't give aspirin to someone that is taking sexual performance enhancing drugs like Viagra or something, right? And she said, okay, use the word blue pill instead or something, or you know, have you been taking something like an ED or something, or yeah, something like that, like a medicine for ED. So after that, she said to the class, okay, so everyone, is what I'm saying clear, you know? And then this one guy in my class said, yep, you are straight to the point, you know? So that was like the ST joke. You get it?
Okay. I get it, but it's not like straight to the point.
It's awful.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an awful joke. But like that was like an ST joke.
No, not an awful joke. Just, I guess I need to be like American to really understand like the concept. Like, sure, yeah, it's a penis. Yeah, great. But okay, it's not precise in my mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, even I thought it was an awful joke. I was like, this joke is horrible. Like, no one even laughed. You know, like I knew he was telling it.
Oh no, like masculine FI, like I don't care. Like,
yeah,
nothing is
like, I'm sitting there, right, and I'm like, oh my god, this joke is awful. What an awful joke. You know? I have SF sleep, right? So for me, when I hear something and I process like what's cool inside me, if it's awful, I'm like, oh my god, it's terrible. You know, like it's like so bad. You know. Like SF sleep is like almost very judgmental, you know. I have SF sleep, right?
Yeah.
So you're judgmental. So if I think you're like whatever how you look or what you're doing is stupid, then inside me I'm thinking, oh, that's pretty stupid or that's retarded, you know. Like I'll say something like that, right? So,
yeah.
Anyways,
yeah, concrete.
You have SF.
Very interesting.
You have SF.
What?
So what is your SF consume like?
SF consume. Uh, it's a weird SF consume because it's like a very weak S and a very strong F.
Yeah.
So like I would know, like I'm always obsessed about what I like, and but I wouldn't know what gives me pleasure, what gives me bodily pleasure. So like in food, like I I would remember that I ate this and it gave me a lot of pleasure, or I ate this and it gave me a tummy ache, or it wasn't tasty, and then I just wouldn't touch it. Like there is no, like the reason is much lower. Like if you, like for food, you can say I eat what my body needs, right? This much of protein, this much of carbohydrate, this much of vegetables, water. And for me, it's like what was a good experience to me. So like I may have eaten like a very nutritious and even tasty food, but like I ate too much of it, or when I was tired and then I had a bad experience, or with company that was bad company.
Yeah.
And so I had a very bad experience of it, and then I don't want to touch it anymore. And so when that happens, when I have like, when I say like, this is, I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this, then I'm in trouble, because I may feel hungry, but I wouldn't know what would fulfill my hunger. So I would like go in the supermarket and I'll try to ask myself, do you like this? Do you want this? And I said, I don't know. Do you want to eat this? I don't know. Do you want to eat this? I don't know. So it's puzzling. At the end, like I just, and because I'm like I can just oh, so let's just not eat. Who cares about eating?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. That's,
right now I'm not in that stage, but it's very challenging for me to understand what I should eat. Like I need to not rely on my feelings, on my past experience of that food, and just say, I guess I need to like taste things, in small amounts, like make the food, taste it a little bit. Is it good? Is it bad? And then have a palette of options. And so that's like SF consume for me. And it's in everything, like SF consume. Yeah, it's when I look at people in the eye. Like I look at people, I want to. It's like I would look at my students, at people. I would look at them in the eye and just think to myself, what is the FI is. It's a very strong FI. It's like what is their core? Like what is their emotional state?
you were giving an example about food. Do you think that's also part of you being a tester? Like you like to experiment and try different things? Like,
Test. Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's like there is this side of me that wants the same, always the same.
yeah.
That's like my saviors. I just want the same thing, the thing that I liked, the thing that I think is true, that is correct. Like, and then there is another side of me. It's like Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like that
Yeah.
is always moving. It always wants variety. Always wants different things.
Yeah.
So like, and it shifts from this to that. If I'm too much on my strong side, then eventually I'll be like sick. I just wouldn't want to eat. Like
Yeah.
I'd make the same thing every day. And it's like, okay, I don't want to mess with food. I'm just making the same thing over and over and over again. But one day after like 4 or 5 days that I eat the same thing, I would be like, I can't touch that food. I can't touch it anymore.
Yeah.
So, and then so but the other side is very, very tricky, because it always like, I don't know what I want. I want this, maybe I want that. I don't know. It's like, it's tricky. And I'm learning to love that side, because it's the fun side.
Yeah.
It's the
It
fun
is.
side. Yeah. And when you dance, it's great. Like, sure, you can, when I dance, I have like two situations. It's either I do my own moves, and I do it, you know, I don't even hear the music. Like I do what I feel that is important to me. Like,
Yeah.
so I would like, if I have something strained, some muscles, so I will just, you know, stretch it. And I don't care, like the music could be like disco. I don't care. Like I will just strain it and walk the way that I walk and like be in my capsule. I don't fucking care what other people do, what the music is. I don't care.
Yeah.
On the other side, there's the play, which is like if I dance with somebody, I will start to mimic their movements, and and it's great fun. I used to think like this is like inferior. Why would you, like, if you copy somebody else, you're not yourself.
Yeah.
But it's super fun. It's super fun to do it.
Yeah.
So it's extreme. It's extreme. It's extreme movement.
Yeah, I've always found that paradox with the IJs and tester. You know, like I've seen a lot of IJs tester that it's that they act kind of like EP-ish, like because they're like gathering, even though they are an IJ. So it's like weird with a tester sexual modality that even though you like the same, you also like to experiment. So it's like a weird, like I said, you become like a walking contradiction almost. You know. Um, your second sexual modality is visual. So would you say you learn best from seeing a picture or an image, or and do you have a good visual memory of things? Would you say?
I didn't take it to. I can tell you that I don't have a good memory, and but like one time I had to somebody I asked somebody. Now I know that I have the capability. Um, I'm trying to say to construct what I'm going to say. Um, First of all, I'll tell you that like when I'm navigating with Waze, you have Waze, the application, or with Google Maps, whatever.
Yeah,
So like I would, if the phone is not in front of me in the car, I wouldn't be able to navigate. I have to see the turn. It's like if they say like in 200 meters go right, unless it's like very, very obvious, it's very difficult for me. I need, you know, to be certain. I need to see it,
yeah,
and I can see it without hearing it. I can't hear it without seeing it.
I see.
So that's one thing. And about like there is a thing about visualization that's very strong. Like one time I had to make an appointment for somebody. I took like the details. I asked somebody, when are you free? He told me I'm free at this date and this hour and 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 this. Like a whole week he told me, and I said, how am I going to remember this?
Yeah,
And then I just, you know, I visualized it as like a snake. Like if it's like on Sunday it's 1 o'clock, then it's a line, and then on Monday it's 1 o'clock again. So it's the continuum of the line, and then on Thursday it's like 4, so it goes like up, and then on Friday it's more open. So I would visualize it as a snake that has an open mouth, and up to this day, and it's been like maybe 2 months, I still remember the times and like the days and the times that this guy was free in that particular week. Because, you know, once I have this visual image,
yeah,
it just doesn't go away.
yeah. That's amazing.
So it's a power. I haven't used it yet. Like everybody says about this visual castle or whatever. I didn't use it yet, but I guess it's possible.
Yeah, I've heard people who have like SI who are visual. They'll like look at a textbook and then they can like screenshot like the textbook page, and they know exactly like everything's written there. So when they do like a test, they're almost like just closing the eye and they can like remember everything. You know.
Wow.
So I think some of these visual powers are crazy. Like depending on your personality type, of course, but like I've seen it with the, you know, like that, you know, ISFJs, for example. I was like, wow, that is nuts. You can screenshot like a page in a in a book. Um,
Amazing.
can you share an experience of like a really bad IJ tidal wave that you got in, like a big chaos tidal wave that just like knocked you off and destroyed that like masculine NI? of yours, you know? What is like a big sensory chaos that happened? Because they said, you know, that people who are IJs, they have problems with fear, and the fear is coming from that SE, right? Fear of sensory chaos. So share to me some big experience that you've had in the past of a big sensory chaos that just like
For
knocked
me,
me out.
it's like, for me, it's like, it was so bad that it's like more than just, if it was, if it was just, you know, every day I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I don't know what to do. Then it would be okay.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like a life thing. I really ignored it for like years, years. Like it took me like 14 years to say, you know, I have this, I had to, like, I was in the social movement and my body started like saying, I don't like this. Like my muscles began to cramp and I was tired. I couldn't sleep. I was in great tension, and I had to reach a point where I am just can't get out of my bed for like 3 months or something like that. In order for me to give up perception, my perception of reality, my ideology, my ideals, and just, you know, choose life. That was like a real, for me it was something that is was crazy and very difficult, like uh, a life pit or something like a. And I had, you know what, I had some of them, like when I was 17, like when I was a child, I would always be in my little box, you know, you know, be in my house, have the food that my mother makes, and I had a great time, you know, imagining things, and not interacting that much with other people. You know, I had a little interaction, but I didn't need much. And like when I was 17, I thought, you know, when I went to school, sometimes I had like bad experiences, and I said like, this is a cruel world. Why do I need it? So when I was 17, I said, you know what? I'm going to just close myself in my room and and live the rest of my life in my room with
Yeah.
closed lights. You know, just do meditation until the rest of my life, because you know, meditation is like, for me, like NF meditation. It's like I feel very happy. I
Yeah.
feel very fulfilled. So so why not do it to the rest of my life? And then I was like 3 days straight meditating in my room. And after 3 days, I said, fuck it. I need people. I need friends. I need to go outside of my realm. And I went to this social movement. So, and met new people and had a lot of new experiences. And I really grateful for that choice. So that's, so it's like it's a, so it, like I can, it's not that I ignore reality, more that it's more that I see reality through my ideology, through my perception of reality. And when it's very difficult for me to admit that this perception is not good for me, for my body, for or it's not efficient in reality. And so those are like two tidal waves. And even now, like I can, like if something is very, like I have a lot of time with like eating, how, what to eat, when to eat, how to choose my food, how to not eat too much, how to not eat too little, with sleeping, and with 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 picking shoes, with decorating my apartment. And I mean, just look at Benjamin's interview. You'll see that there is a clock that has no batteries on the wall. So now there is like a lamp, two lamps, and a place to put books. So I'm working on it, and it's difficult. It's difficult for me.
Yeah.
And what was I trying to say? Whatever.
This is your feminine sensory there. Um, so
Yeah. So what? Yeah. I remember. So when I'm frustrated, when I'm tired, and things don't go my way, like I'm trying to go to sleep. I said, okay, I'm going to sleep at 10. Then I go to bed and I don't, I don't fall asleep. Or I say like, I'm going to eat at this time. I'm not hungry. Or I want to finish this thing and I don't do it. So at that time, it's like my savior and I goes into play and gets me to things that are like not helpful. Like thinking, you know what? What's going to happen in the future? Let's contemplate on that. What about China and the U.S. and the stock market and the Middle East and Russia and and that's what it's like to the rescue comes something that is so abstract, so big, so not helpful. So that's where I go in these times. And that's I don't think, like, if you're asking about, like, I don't believe in the Illuminati or something like that,
okay.
but I would like I don't relate to that, but I would definitely say that like I'm obsessed about what is going to happen, and I'm like, I don't know. How can you not know what's going to happen in the future? Like, just figure it out. You have to figure it out. Figure out what's going to happen in the future. So I would like watch a lot of YouTube videos about analyzing what's going to happen in the future, and like it's an obsession. Like living the present for the future.
All right, Asaf. I have last two questions for you, and we'll wrap up this interview. So the first one is, what advice can you give to fellow, play last INTJ, the same type as you, NIFI, to work on improving that demon play, or at least avoiding future chaos from happening,
I think that
or present chaos? Sorry, present chaos.
I think I would give the advice of just, life is simple. Now you need the only way to get through this imbalance is to adopt a philosophy that accepts it. Adopt a philosophy that we're not like this absolute, perfect, spiritual beings, but that we're just lumps of meat, and we just live and we die, and there is no meaning. And one of the biggest meaning of life is to enjoy yourself. And when you have that in mind, and you say, I want to enjoy myself, it's not like, and it's not, when you have that, you'll just, it's like a magic charm. Like I used to have like really terrible stomach aches just because I wouldn't move. I just would sit on the computer for hours and just wouldn't move and eat too much. And once I started dancing, interacting, things changed. It's like, it's not, you can't perceive it. It's very hard to, it's a leap of faith, because when you're tired, the only thing you want is not to move, not to interact. So I would advise interact, move, have fun, and you'll get more energy, you'll get more fulfillment, and you'll even do better. You can't do anything without your body. You just can't do it. So take great care of it and have fun. That's it. And meditation is very strong. Why it's very good to start asleep, and dancing. If you're FF, dancing is like, I think, is the best way of moving your body, of getting things into gear. Ballet, Gaga, Biodanza, very important Biodanza. That's it.
And then my last question for you is, do you have any question for me? Have to get to use your play now, or consume. Do you have questions about me, like functions that you don't have, like NE or SI, you know?
Yeah, I want to ask about SI. Like,
Okay.
I know how it looks, but don't really understand it. Like for me, NI is like something like sacred, spiritual, absolute. Like I can't imagine how it is in like the physical world.
Well, SI is a lot of like step by step, you know, like step one, do this, step two, do this. Like for example, if like I have
Yeah,
NEFI.
but how does it feel? How do you perceive it? Like what's the logic behind it? What's the perception behind it?
Well, if I'm using FISI, then I have, it's my SF sleep, right? So it's a little bit different, right? So it's basically, I look back in the past and I reflect back on experiences I've had in the past.
No,
And
but yeah, sure. But like, how do you experience reality? Like for me, not moving is like death. But for an SI user, it's
I'm trying to
like I
control, I'm trying to control the physical world. So if someone steps on my floor, I tell them to fuck off. Don't step on my floor. Take off your fucking shoes and your slippers and put it on the doormat. Don't step on my floor. See, I'm trying to control my physical environment, right? You know. So for me,
so it's and
that's
what
like
do you mean? Tell me more about it's my floor. Like you have an attachment to the floor?
physical objects is personal to me. So when someone touches one of my belongings, I get upset. I get really mad, you know, especially if they're not going to take care of it. So if I'm dealing with someone that has SE in their function, I know things are not personal for them and they just shit on things, right? So for those people, you know what? I'm not going to lend you any of my physical stuff because you're going to disrespect it. You're going to return to me, and if it's a book, there's going to be like creases on the book. If it's like a, you
But
know,
tell me about the personal. If you have time, we have time.
yeah,
Do you have time?
yeah,
Tell me how do you feel? I mean, I feel like I have a laptop. I love it dearly. Like I wouldn't give it to anybody, sure,
yeah.
but there's something about like if I do the math, like NI is something so extreme. Like my home is in outer space. That's like in the void. That's like my home. Okay,
Yeah.
that's like the place where I feel comfortable. I feel good in silence.
Okay.
So with that math, SI should be something like magical, something very
It's not magical, man. It's just
very deep.
it's not deep. It's the freaking physical world. So for me, that place where you're talking about your home is in space and it's magical. For me, a magical place is like a really nice condo with like a modern looking washroom, a kitchen with like an island on the kitchen, like an island where you have like a sink in the island, or maybe like a stove in the island where I can cut my vegetables. So it's all physical. There's nothing magical about it. It's 100% concrete. It's your NI box would be my SI box, and my SI box is that an actual like condo. You know, ideally it's like a penthouse condo, but you know, a high rise condo is good enough for me as well. You know, and
Sounds so simple, so great.
yeah,
I
it's
just live my life. Yeah, I want a good life, and that's it. Great.
no,
Sounds
no, it's
terrific.
not even that. It's like it's very specific. It's FISI, right? So it's what I value in the physical world. So if it's someone else's FISI, maybe they don't want to have that like modern condo that I want. Maybe they want like a townhouse, or maybe they want uh, you know, like a bungalow by the beach. You know, so that the person's FISI is different per person, right? So for me, I like a modern looking condominium with 3 or 4 bedrooms, and it's big, and there's a lot of, you know, the kitchen is very specific. um, you know, the washroom is very specific, you know. I want to have like AC or internal um, central heating and central cooling unit, you know. So it's very specific and it's all sensory. There's no abstract about it. It's like very specifically physical. um, but like I said, someone else might want to live in Switzerland on a mountain home, you know, in the Alps, or someone might want to live in the desert, you know, like maybe like the Bedouins, right? You live in Israel, so maybe they want to live in like one of those camps, those Bedouin camps, right? Maybe that's their like perfect physical SI home, right? So it's different for everyone with SI. What their ideal SI like box is going to be different from another one, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
like what,
yeah,
yeah,
it's just the people with I guess more if it's more like masculine lead, introverted functions, they like see it as something like, you know, they take pride in it and all that. So, but I remembered an advice for my type, my future somebody that in the future is going to watch this. The wheelbarrows, Dave's wheelbarrows. Like every night, I do like a plan for tomorrow and 3 things that are the minimum thing that you need to accomplish.
Yeah.
And when I fail and I say that it's a part of the plan,
Yeah.
that's winning, you know.
Okay. It's kind of
Because
random.
I like, you know what I mean? Like I go to dancing and it sucks, and I said, okay, that's just a part of. That's exactly the way it should be. You're going straight by your plan, and then I feel so good, you know. Like chaos, if it's part of the plan, then it's great.
So it's an NI thing then.
Definitely, and I think, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't relate to that at all. I'm hearing that. I'm like, that sounds ridiculous, but okay. Like, it's
I
definitely
just have to have a plan. I have to have a plan. Nothing can be spontaneous. Nothing can be like I don't know how, I don't see it. I don't know how to interact in
well,
it.
I have NE and I'm really good at planning too. Like I took 1 year to go travel around the world and all my plans kind of happened. It just didn't happen in the order that I wanted it. And I didn't care if it didn't happen in the order I wanted it. It still happened. And I still planned it, you know, because the NE and it's still an N, right? So I'm still planning for the future, you know, kind of like what you're doing. So except for you, you don't want spontaneous. Your plan has to be specific. My plan is, this is my plan, but if it goes here and then here and here, that's okay. You know, you know, for you, that's not okay. It has to be like this, you know, like,
Yeah, it's like, it's weird. It's like if I see it, if I plan it, then it might happen. If I don't, it will not happen. Like it's very hard for me to accept that like good things or, you know, things that I want actually can happen without me planning them. It's like I am the boulders of my life. Like
no,
I
no,
will take myself.
that's not what I said at all, dude. But what I said is, I people with any do plan. It's just that for you, your plan is like linear. It's like, you know, you're gonna bulldoze through everything, and this you're gonna hit your goal or your vision, right?
Yeah.
For us, we have the same vision as you, but it's gonna. So for you, it's like this, right? For us, it's like, and it might go backwards, you know, before it goes to the plan. It's like we don't care if it goes that way as long as we hit it. Like no, that doesn't matter how we reach the goal, as long as we reach it, you know.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're letting reality get in. You're allowing reality to affect you. And
You
for
have to.
me,
You have to let reality affect you because it's reality.
no, you don't need to. You can just live in your fantasy world and just do what you think is reality to you and just go by that. I mean, it's a better strategy in my opinion.
Yeah,
But really, that's like how my brain works. It's like
yeah.
I need to have a plan, and I'm not going to let you know, turbulences and outside noises affect that. And if I don't have a plan, then I'm like floating in a stream without any direction, and I won't get anywhere. So yeah,
Okay.
so I understand you, but we're different in that. Like
Oh, very different for sure. Yours is, in my opinion, yours is crazy. But okay, that's fine.
it's crazy. It's crazy. I know it is. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy.
All
Like,
right, Assaf, man. Thanks for doing this interview. We appreciate it. Like you have to
thank you.
like message me back like in the most random time too. Like it's like, you know, I thought you forgot about the interview, but like you did.
No,
But
I just thought like, what's the point of me having the interview? I really thought that. And I said, if there is no point, then why would I do it? But then I thought, you know, for like other people with my type, and I can talk and process what I'm saying. So it's good for me. It's good for the other people. So
yeah. Okay,
I had
fair.
a go. I had a goal. I did it.
I see. I see. So without that masculine NI first, you cannot do it. So
I need a goal. I need a purpose.
gotcha, man. All right, man.
Okay, great. Goodbye.